killer.
Here you go, man. Finish the song.
You did.
Greetings, whoever this may concern. Christian Aguilar here, back with another movie review. And in today's movie review, I'm going to be reviewing the newest horror comedy by the band The Foo Fighters, entitled Studio 666. Now, the film stars Whitney Cummings, Jeff Garlin, Will Forte, Leslie Grossman, and of course the Foo Fighters themselves, Pat Smears, Chris Shiflett, Nate Mandel, Taylor Hawkins, Rami Jaffe, and Dave Grohl. And the film is about legendary rock group Foo Fighters recording their 10th studio album in a haunted mansion in Encino, California. Upon arrival, the band's frontman Dave Grohl runs into some writer's block and he just cannot write a song for the life of him. So he goes exploring around the mansion grounds to see if he can find something to inspire him, and when he comes across this weird, evil-looking basement that has a cursed track and an evil book, he finally finds his inspiration when he hears this heavy metal track that, again, is said to be cursed. And when he finishes recording the song, it could potentially open up a portal to hell. Now, right off the bat, for your interest's sake, I am not going to spoil anything from this film. I am just going to strictly talk about my expectations going into it, how I felt during it, and then how I felt coming out of it once everything was said and done. So when I first heard about this film, I saw it as a trailer on my YouTube homepage, and I'm like, I gotta react to this because I'm, as a longtime Foo Fighters fan, along with my parents, it's so cool to know that they're doing a horror movie, a feature-length film. And I have that trailer reaction up on my channel right now. You can watch on the top right hand corner. You can watch that, come back and watch this. But after I watched that trailer, I was really excited for this movie because it just seemed like they were having fun, you know? And that's something I gotta say about this film, is that it is 100% fun from beginning to end. Along with being loads of fun, this movie's essentially a love letter to horror films. And if you're a Foo Fighters fan and a horror fan like myself, you know, this movie was like essentially made for you. So go out and watch it. You'll have one pleasant time. And since it's essentially following a basic horror plot, that's where I kind of have to knock the film a little bit, just in my opinion, you know, because it's like they aren't treading any new ground when it comes to horror, you know, they're not telling any new stories. It's just like an elevator pitch, you know, it's just quick, simple, and fun. So if you're looking for any intricate plotting that's going on in this movie, you're going to be disappointed. Don't look for that. This is, again, just a fun movie where you can sit back, relax, and enjoy a couple of laughs, and even get grossed out a few times in this film. Despite the plot being a very basic possession plot where we got to find a book and read up on how to save the person that is possessed with all the rules and regulations that go into exorcisms, it does make up for itself in the special effects department, especially when it comes to the kills in this movie. I won't spoil who gets killed, but all the kills in this are pretty top-notch. Everything is really gory, and if you have a light stomach, I think you might get to you just a little bit, because they do amp up the violence in this really quickly, and it was really cool to see, again, as a horror fan. And that amounts of gore just reminded me, again, of The Evil Dead. So if you're an Evil Dead fan, I highly recommend going out and seeing this. However, despite the kills looking top-notch, some of the other visual effects in this seems a little cheap. Like moments when characters get electrocuted, and you see, like, the electricity running through their body, like a bright neon blue lightning bolt just, like, shocking around them and covering their body. It looks very animated, looks very 80s-esque. And that kind of took me out of it a little bit, but again, the effects for the kills made up for that, and I was like, holy crap, those look like practical. They all look practical. Maybe some of the kills had some CGI in it, but for the most part, they look like they were practically done, which is pretty cool. It just shakes you up a little bit, and I really admire that about the film. It can make you laugh, then it can make you grossed out in the next minute, and I think that's really well paced in this movie. Again, overall, this movie's a very fun one, a very enjoyable one. This is definitely a popcorn film if I've ever seen one. There's no intricate plot that you gotta worry about. There's no lore to try to brush up on before you go and see it. There's no political messages in there that they're trying to shove down people's throats. It's just a fun time at the theaters. You see it with friends, family, and fellow fans alike, and just have a fun time with it, man. And another thing I really liked about this is that at times it felt like moments of just, hey, this is our first film, and we're having fun with it. Because obviously the band members, they aren't actors, they're professional musicians. They're not used to being in front of cameras doing things, you know? They're used to being in front of live audiences playing music, but not in front of the camera acting. So to see them jump into the spotlight, it felt like it reminded me of the time when I was in high school. And I did a short film with my friends, you know, my very first short film where I just decided to pick up a camera and go out and do it, right? It reminded me of that time because it felt like friends just coming together, having fun, and then looking back on the movie and laughing because you know them, you know the guys on screen, and you're just laughing along with them and laughing at the absurdity that the film is, because I remember we tried to make ours scary back in high school. We tried to make our short film scary, but in doing so, it just led to bigger laughs, and it just made it seem enjoyable to us, so I get those similar vibes here, especially with the chemistry amongst the band, that's very much apparent. They're playing themselves, but then there's times where you feel like, yeah, even they want to laugh at the stuff they're saying or the stuff they're dealing with in there, and that just adds charm to the movie for sure. I gotta say, Whitney Cummings is a standout in this movie. I thought she was just gonna have a one or two scenes here and there, kind of like a little cameo role, but she is a recurring face throughout the movie, and that was pretty cool to see. And every time she's on screen, there was always big laughs, In a small little audience, I think there was maybe like 7 people in my theater, including me and my parents. So that was like, we were 3 of the 7 people. And it was cool to have like the majority of us 7 laugh together. It was a small audience, but the movie was still getting big laughs out of the 7, and that was pretty cool to experience. And another standout, Rami Jaffe, which is one of the recent members that were added into the Foo Fighters. He's a standout in this movie. His character, his caricature of himself was very hilarious. He did a great job. He has great comedic timing, and him and Whitney Cummings' chemistry on screen, it's just one of the highlights of the films for sure. And it was really cool to see the band members play off of these comedic actors in the film. So with all that being said, Studio 666 is a solid film. I went into it with moderate expectations and came out really enjoying it, man. I would definitely go back and see it a second time and potentially just buy it on Blu-ray. But I am curious. I wonder what people out there that aren't Foo Fighters fans but are horror fans and so happen to see this movie, I wonder what they think about it. And on the off chance that is you watching this review, please let me know down below in the comment section what you thought of this movie. Or if you're not a Foo Fighters fan and you saw this movie, what did you think of it? Is it still a pretty fun movie like how I described it? Or is it just something that was kind of made for their fan base and nothing more? But anyway, let me know what you thought of the film down below. If you saw it, and if you haven't, I highly recommend to go out and see it if you're a horror fan, especially if you like the gory stuff. And of course, if you're a fan of the Foo Fighters, go out and watch it. It's one hell of a treat for you guys. So my rating for Studio 666, I was going back and forth on this. My parents would give it a 4 out of 5, but because there was a couple of cheap effects here and there, and because of the basic plot that it had, I gotta give it a solid 3.5 out of 5 Skarsgårds. Yes, 3.5 out of 5 Skarsgårds. It's a solid movie, way better than I expected going into it, and I just had a fun time watching it. So that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for reaching to the end of it. I will be trying to review some Batman movies before I get to see The Batman when it comes out this week, so stay tuned for that. As always, please like, share, and subscribe, support the channel. I'm at 285 right now, so thank you for subscribing and getting the numbers slowly but surely up there. It's very much appreciated. Go over and check out the rendered image, the link to which is down below in the description. It's a show I co-host with my good friends Tyler and Shannon. We go over the latest movie news, updates, and trailers, so make sure to go over and check that out. There's also a podcast for that. All of that is down below in the description, so go and check that out if you're interested. I hope you're all safe and well out there, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care. As you can see, this is the first video I'm doing standing, so I can't really reach the camera, but I guess